Subscribe now. EU Debates.
I'm particularly pleased to be able to host your President of the European Council, Mr. Michel, in Belgrade, in Serbia. And when I say this, I'm not saying this just as a token of courtesy, but because I truly think so. And I feel that his visit this moment to our country is of great importance for our future and for everything that should be done. I'm particularly grateful to President Michel because he has always been ready to listen, to hear the arguments of Serbian side, even though he might not agree on them and with them, and for not only having enough time and attention, and for always showing particular attention for Western Balkans and desire to move faster towards the EU with his personal strength, reputation, and authority. He did everything he could so that we implement reforms faster and that some countries understand why it is important that the Western Balkans is a part of the European continent. I'm not referring only geographical, but any other sense. Today we had the opportunity to visit Science Technology Park, which would not exist if there weren't for sufficient and quite significant support by the EU. Here in the region we promised, and we're gonna build a common European Science Technology Park in Sarajevo, and that's our obligation, and thereby we will show, I believe that we're going to get additional support from both European funds and that we can work jointly within the region on that. We discussed European path of Serbia, and once again I emphasize the fact that Serbia's commitment is to be on European path, and our goal is full EU membership. I wish to tell to the citizens of Serbia, just for their information, that it is not only a matter, it's not only an emotional issue, it's the issue of reason. We've been speaking about values for millions of times, but I'm going to speak about everything that others are avoiding, because I don't know, am I supposed to be ashamed of speaking about rational, pragmatic things? Well, I'm not ashamed at all, because thereby I speak how important cooperation with the that we have with the EU is. In exchange and trade exchange with the EU, which in 2021 was almost 31 billion euros, in exchange of trade and services, which is beyond 37 billion euros, EU participate within that trade exchange with more than 60% in the Republic of Serbia. But bear in mind that already in the first 4 months in 2022 we have by 33% bigger, so 9 billion in the first 3 months more than it used to be in previous 3 years. So our estimation is that this trade exchange is gonna move in the next 3 years even above 50 billion euros, which speaks about the importance of the European Union and EU member states and factories they build in our countries and the export we have, but also in everything that an import of goods from the EU, and of course our biggest export and import are actually with the EU. I underline these data because the number one investor to Serbia is definitely EU, with some 67% of total investment, which people should also know. And as someone who I believe is very pragmatic, I have to be fair and to show respect both for the money and for everything that EU has done here. I want to thank them for numerous essential and structural reforms they encourage in our country. Those are good news. We discussed all key political issues. President of the European Council pointed the way we should continue our rule of law reforms. I'm grateful to him for that, how to improve situation further in the area of media, even though I pointed to him that the Reporters Without Borders, we improved our position in 14 positions, but we have to work a lot more to make that even better. We were discussing the situation in the region, where I promised to the President of the European Council that we are going to do our best to preserve peace and stability, and that they can fully count on the Republic of Serbia. In that regard, we spoke about negotiations and discussions within the dialogue between Belgrade and Pristina, and I understood all the words of worry and everything President Michel is facing, and people in the EU. We're speaking about the position of Serbia, and we're always committed for the dialogue. We're going to be ready for the dialogue, and I hope that with the help of the EU, we are going to bring ourselves closer to some sort of compromise solution in the future. Of course, I asked President Michel for his last initiative regarding creation of a geopolitical community at the level of the European continent. And even though I do know that for many people, both in our country and in the region, are going to listen to the stories how that must not happen, because it is going to be a replacement for the full EU membership, and you're always going to hear that for the biggest number of bureaucrats and so-called experts and so on. For me, the idea of President Michel and President Macron is very important, very significant one, and I believe that it can contribute a lot both to the process of acceleration towards full EU membership and also regarding improvement of the position of all Western Balkan countries in accessing and joining the EU. Of course, not all the details have been elaborated. Those ideas are yet to be spoken about. I pointed out some of our needs, particularly in achievement of 4 big freedoms of movement of trade, goods, people, goods, capital, services, green lanes for our trucks, totally free flow of people, services, information, everything. And I believe that in the future, and upon the initiative of Presidents Michel and Macron, we can achieve big and important things, and under the auspices of such an initiative. And of course, we discussed global situation. We discussed many problems that we are facing within energy supply and our energy market in Serbia. We got some guarantees and some important words from President Michel that we will be able to count on EU support in those matters. We discussed global issues and Russia's attack against Ukraine and war, conflict and everything. President Michel, in a really powerful way, expressed wish and expectation of the EU that the Republic of Serbia joins sanctions against the Russian Federation. I explained our situation to the President Michel and our political positions. And once again, I want to thank President Michel for every kind of support that he personally and the EU provided to Serbia. And that support is not only in constructing roads, railroads. We reached the price, if I'm not mistaken, of 1.72 billion for the high-speed railroad Belgrade-Niš. With all the grants that we are going to get from the EU, those are fantastic terms and conditions. I want people to know that. I want people in Niš to know that. I want people in Gilja, near Jagodina and Ćuprija to know that. I want people in Mladenovac and Malakrsna to know that. I want people in Belgrade to know that, because one day we're going to have a railroad from Belgrade to Istanbul through Sofia and Istanbul, or Athens and Thessaloniki and Skopje, of course, in between. So entire Serbia will be covered by high-speed railroads in terms where you don't know where and how much oil and everything there is. The railroad will mean a lot. I've mentioned this just because we speak rarely about that, and it seems to me we always find some negative things in that, and they are more interesting to media and to people than endless positive moves that we made with a lot of efforts and a lot of hard work. And I want to thank everybody for this high-speed railroad within the European Commission house here in Belgrade, who worked really diligently with us here in Belgrade. And we did a lot of things together. I want to thank them for this common efforts. I want to thank you, President Michel, for coming to our country, and I'm going to tell this to him once again, like I told him in Science Technology Park. We, citizens of Serbia, can and know how to respect all the people coming to our country, and we particularly respect our friends, but in particular we appreciate when someone shows respect for our country and the time that you spend in our country, and the fact that we're going to have a working dinner a bit later, and that you're going to stay overnight in our city, in our country. This is a great honor for us. You're always welcome, and I want to tell you once again, thank you for the respect you're showing for our country. Thank you very much. Thank you, Mr. President. Kindly ask President of the European Council, Mr. Charles Michel, to take the floor. Mr.